What's up, J Fusion fans, and welcome back to another superhero time review. And my hair is still weird because I still can't go to the barber, with all this pandemic going on. So, anyways, before we continue on with this video, I would like to remind everyone that this video is not intended for viewers under the age of 13. So, please be advised. Anyway, moving on to today's episodes. Now, Kamen Rider Zero One. Last week, we did see the debut of Kamen Rider Arc Zero, and today we see the debut of Kamen Rider Naki. Now, maybe a spoiler for the previous episode. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. So, there was a scene where Arc was developing a new Force Riser. Maybe he was making two. So one for Naki and one for Ikazuchi, because I believe Ikazuchi's previous uh, Force Riser was also destroyed when he was destroyed. So we also see the return of Ikazuchi as a Kamen Rider as well. And although it seems plain, for Kamen Rider Naki's debut, but it's also actually kind of funny. If you guys have seen my Facebook post, there is a pair of boxers that was Zaya brand. Yep, they're also making a debut today. So there is a relation to that. Kamen Rider Naki's debut and those Zaya underpants were kind of connected today. Watch the episode and you will see why. So, talking about Kamen Rider Naki for a little bit. So, apparently, Kamen Rider Naki's motif is a Japanese wolf. So, if anyone doesn't know about the Japanese wolf, it is a kind of wolf that is endemic to Japan, meaning it's a kind of species that is only found in Japan, but it was said to have been extinct many years ago. But recently, people have been sharing stories about sightings of this particular animal. So it's interesting to have it's interesting to use that very specific concept for Naki, but this may also have a connection to Isamu, since the two were practically bonded for a while. And as we all know, Isamu's main motif is that of a wolf when he transforms into Kamen Rider Vulcan. So I guess that may also give Naki that connection. Now, another highlight of this episode, which I really like. So, uh, Vice President Fukuzawa is amazing in this episode. So, like, he is so amazing that I wish he becomes a Kamen Rider. That's practically impossible at this point, but who knows? There could be a spin off where he actually gets to develop his own driver and transforms into his own Kamen Rider. Hopefully, Toei should be listening. uh, Even though as a joke character like the Kamen Rider June, for example, uh, even as a joke Kamen Rider, I would love to see Fukuzawa transform just because of his appearance in this episode. And well, maybe his assistant, Mr. Yamaguchi, or Yamazaki. I forgot the name of that guy, but he also kind of shines in this episode. Now, while my prediction, by the way, going back to Kamen Rider Arc Zero, so I did say in an article that I wrote a few weeks back that my best guess for uh, Arc's host is Horobi. Well, that is true. It apparently isn't 100% the case. So, yes, Arc Zero's debut started with Horobi, but we do see, especially from last week, that Arc can transfer itself to other members of Metsubo Jinrai, apparently. Although for this episode, it's still Jin. So by the later half of Arc Zero's debut last week, Jin did become Arc Zero as well. So it just carried on to today. So maybe in future episodes we might also see Naki and Ikazuchi transforming into Arc Zero. So stay tuned for that. So yeah. For this episode of Kamen Rider Zero One, I am going to give it 4 out of 5. It is a great episode. I do think Kamen Rider Naki's debut could be a bit more hyped. I Well, of course, the concept of all Metsubo Jinrai members transforming together is quite amazing on its own, but there should have been more hype for Kamen Rider Naki. Like, uh, it just felt so sudden. Well, it's good to have Naki transform. Like, you could have, like, the producers could have done something to make that, to give some excitement to that. But the Fukuzawa though, he really shines in this episode. So I'm giving it 4 out of 5. Although I did forget one scene though. So there was a scene in the hospital while Yua is still recovering from her injuries from the last battle. So yeah. Uh, so Isamu came to visit her again. So y'all know what I'm thinking. It's like so seeing that scene, like, come on, tell him already. But yeah, it it was also nice. But yeah, still, this episode gets a 4 out of 5. It was very nice, although there could have been something more done for Naki's debut. And now we're going to move on to Kira Major. So, of course, we are still trying to get to know Takamichi, and there is still a lot about him that. So, for last week, right? There was a lot about him. So, what's his deal? What kind of person is he? So, how is he a Kira Major? And all of those things we do find out a lot today. So practically all of the questions from last episode are given answers today. At first, I found it quite confusing with all that development in the show, but at the later half, like when I pieced together all those hints about his personality, all the information that the show provided, so I finally understood what he is. And with that said, I actually am intending to make a video that's more focused on Takamichi. Uh, of course, that would come later, so stay tuned for that. So, of course, because this is still a Takamichi focused episode, we will see him definitely in action. And we also see the debut of his own mecha, the Dorishan, and we also, not yet the transformation, so it's not yet the robot mode, but we do see that mech being completed today. So again, there isn't much regarding the other members, like the overall plot, but this is still a more character focused episode. So it's all about Takamichi basically, and with all its confusion, yeah, it was interesting, however, but still, it kind of confused me at first. So all that pacing, it seemed so fast, and like again, I'm trying to understand that there have been a few weeks where the show uh, was kind of delayed. We only saw flashbacks, we only saw recaps. So those were just filler episodes, while the main show is kind of on a break uh, with all this happening around the world, and whatnot. So the show is trying to catch up on itself, I feel, but yeah, it doesn't look right. Like, you're giving us all the answers already. Like, uh I kind of personally would have liked to see Takamichi's development, like what are like maybe piece by piece, take it step by step, like give it a few episodes before answering the next question and stuff like that. Everything comes in this episode, basically. All those answers that you need to answer every question about Takamichi, it's all in this episode. So maybe there's still some kind of development later on, but again, personally, I would have preferred if they've taken it a bit slower. So with that, I'm going to give Kira Major a 3.5 out of 5. It was still very entertaining, seeing the chemistry between Takamichi and the Kira Majors. Again, I will make a separate video focusing on him. And I intend to do that after I finish recording this one. So, anyways, yeah, that would be all. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please do leave a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JE Fusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you on the next Superhero Time review. And I gotta finish now because I got to record the Takamichi video that I'm talking about. So, see you!